Wembley Stadium. The biggest moment in English football in 55 years. And it all comes down to him, a 19-year-old with the weight of an entire nation on his shoulders. In front of 55,000 roaring fans, a teenager's dream collapsed in a matter of seconds. This was the moment a dream died. A single kick that unleashed a tidal wave of hatred that would have shattered most players. But for Bukayo Saka, this wasn't the end. It was the beginning. What happened between that fateful penalty and today is an incredible story of resilience. July 11, 2021. The UEFA Euro 2020 final. England vs Italy. After 120 punishing minutes of football, the score is tied 1-1. The hopes of 67 million people now hang on a penalty shootout. The air is so thick with tension you could cut it with a knife. One by one, players make the lonely walk from the halfway line. Some score. Some don't. As the shootout unfolds, the pressure builds to an unbearable level. England manager Gareth Southgate, having already seen Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho miss, makes a call that will be talked about for years. He points to his fifth penalty taker. Not a seasoned veteran, but a teenager. Bukayo Saka. At just 19, Saka had been a revelation in the tournament. His boundless energy, his fearlessness, that infectious smile, he represented a new, brighter future for English football. But in this moment, none of that mattered. All that mattered was one kick. As Saka places the ball on the spot, the world holds its breath. The Italian keeper, Gianluigi Donnarumma, looks like a giant in the goal. The referee's whistle cuts through the noise. Saka starts his run-up. It's not a thunderbolt, but a smart, placed shot. Donnarumma guesses right, dives, and pushes the ball away. Silence. The Italian players explode in a sea of blue, sprinting towards their keeper. The English players collapse, a familiar pain etched on their faces. But the cameras find one person, Bukayo Saka, his head in his hands, completely inconsolable. His teammates try to comfort him, but he's lost in his own world. He felt he'd let everyone down. A few days later, he posted on social media, writing, "There are no words to tell you how disappointed I was. I really believed we would win this for you. I'm sorry that we couldn't bring it home for you this year." My reaction post-match said it all. I was hurting so much and I felt like I'd let you all and my England family down. But the pain of the miss was only the beginning. The real horror wasn't what happened on the pitch. It was what happened when he and his teammates opened their phones. A disgusting wave of racist abuse flooded their social media. Saka, who had worn the England shirt with so much pride, was targeted for the color of his skin. A mural painted in his honor was vandalized. The very people he'd hoped to make proud had turned on him with sickening hate. Saka knew it was coming. "I knew instantly the kind of hate that I was about to receive," he wrote. "And that is a sad reality that your powerful platforms are not doing enough to stop these messages." It was a moment that could have easily derailed a young career. The world watched, wondering how this 19-year-old could possibly bounce back. But while the trolls were busy spewing their venom, something else was happening. A wave of love and support began to build. His Arsenal manager, Mikel Arteta, was one of the first to call. Arteta didn't see a failure. He saw a young man with the guts to step up when it mattered most. He saw character. The support from Arsenal was immediate and unwavering. The club condemned the abuse and celebrated Saka's courage. Teammates, past and present, flooded a private group chat with messages of solidarity. They weren't going to let him break. And then there were the fans. Arsenal supporters responded with an incredible outpouring of love. Letters and banners all said the same thing. Bukayo Saka was one of them. In a pre-season friendly against their arch-rivals, Tottenham, even the Spurs fans gave Saka a standing ovation. This was bigger than club loyalty. It was about basic human decency. Saka was overwhelmed. He had all the letters and messages sent to his family's home to read every single one. "This is what football should be about," he later wrote. Passion, people of all races, genders, religions and backgrounds coming together with one shared joy. He ended his message with a simple, powerful promise. I will not let that moment or the negativity that I've received this week break me. The heartbreak was real. The pain was immense. But Bukayo Saka wasn't going to be a victim. He was going to write his own story. So how did he find the strength to make that promise? To understand that, you have to know who Bukayo Saka was before Wembley. You have to go back to the beginning. Bukayo Saka Saka was born on September 5, 2001, in West London. His parents had come to London from Nigeria as economic migrants, looking for a better life for their family. They were devout Christians who taught their children the value of humility, faith, and hard work. Saka was a straight-A student, but his father, a lifelong football fan, poured time and money into his son's dream. That dream started at Arsenal's famous Hale End Academy, which he joined when he was just 8 years old. Even among other talented kids, Saka stood out. Coaches loved his technical skill, his silky dribbling, his killer left foot, but they were even more impressed by his attitude. He was a sponge, always listening, always asking how he could be better. He shot through the academy ranks at a dizzying pace. He made his first team debut for Arsenal at just 17 and scored his first senior goal less than a year later. But it was under manager Mikel Arteta that Saka really took flight. Arteta saw a special intelligence in the young player and trusted him completely. And Saka repaid that faith. In the 2020-21 season leading up to the Euros, he was the one bright spot in a tough year for Arsenal. His performances were so brilliant that he was voted the club's player of the season. But talent and hard work alone couldn't prepare him for the trauma of the final. For that, he needed a different kind of strength. After the Euros, Saka didn't waste time feeling sorry for himself. He got to work. He channeled all that pain into a relentless drive to get better. He reportedly adopted a secret 5 a.m. morning routine, a symbol of his insane discipline. While others were sleeping, Saka was on the training pitch. He worked on his weaknesses until they became strengths. Sprint intervals to build explosive power. Endless dribbling drills. And shooting. Shot after shot, day after day, building the confidence to find the net when it counted. And it worked. His sprint speed reportedly increased by a staggering 8% in just 6 months. He was faster, stronger, and more determined than ever. Arteta saw the change immediately. I was worried with everything that happened in the summer with him, the manager admitted. But when I first met him, I realized he would cope with it well. His reaction was incredible. Saka also leaned on his support system. He spoke openly about how much his family and friends helped him. He worked with sports psychologists to process the trauma and build mental resilience. He wasn't just building a better footballer, he was building a stronger man. The pain of the penalty miss was becoming fuel. The scar, as Arteta called it, was starting to look like armor. So, the 2021-22 season kicks off, and all eyes are on Saka. Every touch, every shot, every decision is under the microscope. How would he respond? Would he hide? He didn't just respond, he attacked. He played with a fire in his eyes. And the Arsenal fans, who had wrapped him in a collective embrace, roared his name louder than ever. Saka became the engine of Arteta's revitalized Arsenal. In that 2021-22 season, he finished as the club's top scorer with 12 goals and 7 assists. For the second year in a row, he was voted Arsenal's Player of the Season, the first player to do that since the legendary Thierry Henry. But there was still one ghost left to exorcise. Every time Arsenal got a penalty, the question hung in the air, would he take it? The moment came on April 20th, 2022, against Chelsea. Arsenal were awarded a late penalty. The designated taker was on the pitch, but Saka walked over, picked up the ball, and placed it on the spot. It was a statement. He was taking control of his own narrative. As he stood over the ball, the echoes of Wembley were deafening. Another world-class keeper, Edouard Mendy, stood in his way. But this wasn't the same Bukayo Saka. This wasn't a boy hoping to score. This was a man who knew he would. He ran up and coolly slotted the ball into the corner. The celebration was pure, raw emotion, a roar of relief and defiance. He had faced his demon and won. From that moment on, something shifted. His penalty record since that miss for England is astounding. He's become one of the most reliable penalty takers in the Premier League. That was just the start. The 2022-23 season saw him hit another level, with an incredible 27 goal contributions as Arsenal mounted a title charge, and he was crowned the PFA Young Player of the Year. The 2023-24 season was even better, as he finished as Arsenal's top scorer with a career-best 20 goals. Now, at just 24 years old, he's blown past 200 Premier League appearances and 100 goal involvements. His market value has skyrocketed to well over £120 million, making him one of the most valuable players in the world. The redemption arc found its perfect ending on the international stage. Saka was a star for England at the 2022 World Cup, scoring 3 goals. At Euro 2024, the very tournament that caused his greatest heartbreak, he was a leader. He even became Arsenal's all-time leading scorer for the England national team. And when England faced a penalty shootout against Switzerland in the quarter-final, Saka stepped up with confidence and buried it. The journey was complete. From the agony at Wembley to the top of world football, Bukayo Saka's story is a powerful lesson in resilience. He took a moment that would have broken most people and used it to build an empire. His manager, Mikel Arteta, talks about him with a sense of awe. "When you look at those numbers, 200 games, 100 goal involvements, it's unbelievable," Arteta said. "Those are the kind of players that we need." He's not just a player, he's the face of the club's new era, young, hungry, and mentally unbreakable. But Saka's legacy goes far beyond the pitch. He's never forgotten where he came from. Through his partnership with the charity Big Shoe, he has funded 120 life-changing surgeries for children in Nigeria suffering from illnesses like hernias and brain tumors. "I feel blessed to be in a position where I can contribute to making the children's lives easier and better," Saka said. So how did he do it? It really boils down to 4 things. First, resilience. He refused to let one failure define him. Second, a mindset shift. He focused on the love from his club and fans, not the hate. Third, discipline. Those 5 a.m. training sessions prove that talent is nothing without hard work. And fourth, a support system. He leaned on his family, his manager, and his teammates to get through the darkest times. Bukayo Saka is no longer just the kid who missed a penalty. He is Arsenal's star boy, an England hero, and a global inspiration. He's living proof that your worst moment doesn't have to define you. It can be the start of something legendary. And at just 24 years old, the scary part is, the best is yet to come. What do you think is Bukayo Saka's greatest quality? His skill, his mentality, or his character? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe for more.